Good evening and welcome back to the Behind the Leazers podcast. Another week, another win for Newcastle United. Two games this week, 2 wins, massive 6 points. Kieran Trippier's unbelievable, but now sadly injured. I feel like I've just done a Frank Lampard there, being all happy and then be like, no, but seriously, Trippier's injured. Ethan, I'll get wrong if I just say how are you, mate. So Ethan,
yes.
How are you?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I don't like the awkwardness of opening it up and no one knowing who's getting asked that question. But yeah, personally, I'm good, mate. I'm really happy, as I'm sure everyone else is. Another really good performance, another good win. And yeah, I can get used to this feeling now. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's watching Newcastle and actually being able to watch it and not being like this every 5 minutes. It's great. Rob, you were at the game. How was it, mate?
Yeah, just incredible, to be honest. I mean, coming off the Everton game, such high spirits. We're back at St James's Park, four days later, and I'm thinking, can we actually go and get another 3 points? The atmosphere was incredible, and we got the job done. So yeah, very, very happy. I'm happy with that one.
Yeah, both Adam and Rob have just had videos come out from their match day experience from yesterday, so make sure to go and watch them. Obviously, after you finished up here. Adam, how are you, mate?
I'm good, not too bad. I mean, 3 wins in a row. Haven't said that since 2018, so I'm buzzing about that one. It's when you watch Newcastle, even when we play away, you just feel like at some point we're going to drop points. But against Villa, I actually thought a point wouldn't have been too bad from the game. But no, we went ahead, got the 3 points. Wasn't a world-class performance by any means, but it was the 3 points, so who cares how we played.
Ethan, we'll start from the start. It's always the best place to start. Team sheet came out. How did you think of the team sheet? Obviously, a couple of changes in there.
Yeah, well, it was notable. Lascelles wasn't in there. That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't realise that he was injured, but seeing Dan Burns' name was exciting. Obviously, the other notable news was that Trippier was fit to play when there was a doubt over him, and still no start for Bruno Guimaraes. But you know what? I really backed that decision from Eddie Howe, because the midfield three of Joelinton, Shelvey, and Willock against Everton was undroppable. They were all three brilliant working together, and I like that. Even though Guimaraes is the big money signing, he's still not just going to walk in there. And it's nice to have that competition, because, to be honest, we all thought you'd just stroll into that midfield. But now it looks like they're all motivated. Players like Joe Willock, who I'm sure we'll talk about, even more motivated now to try and keep his position.
I see what you're doing there. Adam, a couple of surprises on the Villa side as well. Coutinho and Buendia all thought they were going to be injured for this game, but played. Didn't really make much nuisance, did they?
No, I thought Villa were pretty bad going forward, but again, I think Newcastle defensively were sound all game long. The only chance Villa had was to disallow a goal, where, to be fair, the ball was just bouncing all over the place. So, yeah, defence was class. I think Dan Burn, especially in his debut, I mean, I was expecting to be better than what we had, but I wasn't expecting to be that good. I mean, he was him and Shottiger, on my word, those two were good to watch. I was thinking the defence as a whole, I know Dummett and Kraft, those two struggled when they came on for injuries, but at the same time, they were just thrown into the deep end, to be fair to them. So, yeah, I thought the full back line was good. I thought the midfield was good. Obviously, may have some different opinions from Willock, but I actually thought the team itself, I didn't think it was an outright bad player in that team. I thought everyone did the job, and like I said before, it wasn't an amazing performance, but it was a good one, and we got the win.
Rob, we'll stick with the team sheet, because you look at it now, and it's no longer, do we really have to watch 90 minutes of this? It's like, get in. We look good today.
I know.
Do you share the same thoughts?
Yeah, well, as I said, the fact that we've won a couple of games, and you know what it is? It's the game we had yesterday as well. It was that kind of game where if we played that 6 months ago, we probably would have lost. And a lot of that isn't. I think that just being able to take that deep breath, calm under pressure, we've not seen that from a Newcastle side in a very long time. And I think a lot of what comes with that is the players that are out there. Someone like Trippier is making such a huge difference, and seeing his name on that team sheet when it was going to be a late fitness test, we're all a little bit worried. Seeing him, I took the deep breath. I was like, thank you. I was like, having him in the side just gives you that sigh of relief of, actually, you know what, we're doing okay. And to mention some of those players, like players like Fraser, who really for the last couple of years have not done a lot to note, to be honest. And then all of a sudden, we win a few games, the confidence is high, and now I'm thinking, we can't drop him, because he's been playing great.
Poor old Ryan Fraser. The team comes out the tunnel. I'm pretty convinced Ryan Fraser's lost a bet, or someone stitched him up and telling him where he's lining up in the tunnel, because he's came out and Dan Burns just stood next to him, and it's just, Ethan, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great picture, isn't it?
It's like me and you.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. We're not the tallest tower, but is it the tallest outfielder in the league and the smallest one? And they put them right next to each other. It's a photo opportunity, surely.
I'm going to give you my Christmas cracker fact that Ryan Fraser is the smallest Premier League player to ever be sent off. And it up with that record was, I say this every time, I've got to follow it up. Second time that record was broke last season. First it was Tariq Lampard at Brighton. He got sent off, and then it was Ryan Fraser when we all weren't big fans of Ryan Fraser after that Sheffield United game.
That's a great start, yeah.
Not to pat the poor bloke, but I don't know if you've seen it. I tweeted out when they celebrate Kieran Trippier's free kick, and Ryan Fraser's jumped on the back of one of the lads, and it's got to be Photoshop. It's got to be. It just doesn't look right at all. But Adam, let's talk about that Trippier free kick. The incident leading up to it. Willock's gone over just outside of the box. Must have been looking at it going, it's got to be a pen, and then look, Willock's foot just outside the box, and I was a bit surprised. I don't think the Villa player who fouled, I don't think he got booked for it. I was quite surprised by that. I think it was a blatant, it was just clumsy, and it was a blatant foul to try and break up the attack. And I don't know about you, Adam, but of course there's the instant gutness that you haven't got a penalty, but then you see Kieran Trippier stand over a free kick outside the box. Were you thinking all day this was going in when Trippier was standing over it?
I was confident he's going to put it on target. I wasn't too sure of the actual goal, but obviously you could see the pen before it was getting taken. You could see that Chris Wood was stepping up and taking it. I don't know, he was a bit off in the game really, so I don't know if he actually would have scored the pen. Again, Martinez is actually a really good goalkeeper when it comes to stopping pens as well, so again, who knows, he might have missed the penalty, but free kick 20 yards out, Kieran Trippier's going to do something with it, and yes, it takes a massive deflection, but I couldn't care less, to be honest. Kieran Trippier stuck it in there. And it was deserved from the first start. And Joe Willock did really well to actually win the free kick in the first place. It was lucky not to be a pen, to be fair. But overall, yeah, that was a huge way to start the game. And obviously, because of the injuries, I had to defend the second half. And thankfully, that was all it took.
Yeah, we're going to have to come to Mystic Rob now, who last week predicted a 1-0.
I did.
You did. It just went the way you thought it was going to go. We played brilliantly, I have to say. Again, I think it was 9s and 10s all over for me, and I don't even think that's me being biased. Rob, do you think when we went 1-0, were you confident we would be able to see it out?
The reason I went 1-0 was because, again, I think we played fantastically well against Everton and put the ball in there a few times, but at the same time, Everton weren't on the game, and as good as we were, they weren't great, and I knew we would definitely have a tougher game against Aston Villa. Again, I'm looking out to see whether Trippier's playing. I'm also looking out to see whether Coutinho's going to play, if Buendia's going to play, because and when I saw their team sheet, I was like, they're all in. In fairness, we handled them all game. I mean, the shots wise was pretty even either way, and I think they only had maybe one or two actual shots on target. I mean, we were pretty similar, to be fair, but that's what you get from a tight game. In terms of the way the game went, I thought they started better. I thought coming into the end of the first half, we looked really good. I didn't want half time. After we scored the goal, we looked like we could have got a second. Coming out into the second half, they started way better than we did. And it's disappointing that it took a disallowed goal for us to wake up, but at least VAR saved us. And then, as you say, coming into the end of the game, if we were playing that game again 3-4 months ago, I would be like, we're gonna concede. But it was so strange, because even with 5 minutes to go, I was like, we've got this under control. I was strangely confident with the 7 minutes out of time, and I'm going, oh my God. But at the same time, I didn't feel like we were going to concede. It was the most relaxed I've felt coming to an end of a game for Newcastle in a long time.
Ethan, let's talk Joe Willock, because personally he's been fantastic, hasn't he? Last couple of games really rejuvenated his career again. He was great, kicked on in that game against Leeds, linking up with Maxi, taking on players. Then again, brilliant against Everton, and then won the free kick that we scored from. He's all over the pitch. He's grafting, and again, us Geordies were a sucker for a player like that who'll just graft all game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what Joe Willock and any midfield player, if you want to get in this Newcastle team, if you work hard, Andy, it's really hard to take you out. And I think not just Willock, the whole midfield three at the minute, like I said, are keeping Gamerish out of the team because they're working so hard together and they're linking up. But Willock's been brilliant. I've been hearing some stats that he got 100% pass completion. Wow, that's amazing. He like you said before, Andy, he also won the free kick for Trippier to score. What Willock's so good at doing is bringing the ball forward and attacking at a defence. This is why we were calling for him to be a number 10 again, because we thought this would give him the freedom to try and get back up to his usual game, the Joe Willock of old, of when he was on loan here. But yeah, it looks like he's finally clicking with the rest of this team in this role. Would you say it like maybe an 8 that Joe Willock's playing? Yeah. But yeah, Andy, he's been fantastic, and like I said again, it's going to be difficult. I can't wait to see Bruno Guimarães' debut. I'm so excited, but it's hard just to put him in at the minute if they're playing so well. It really is.
I think if you were bringing Bruno in, I think it's for Shelvey. I think likely out of the three, I just think sometimes Shelvey's been great, don't get us wrong, but I think sometimes his work rate lets him down just that slight little bit. I think where Shelvey starts to flag, I think Bruno would be able to take it to the next level in that game. So, like you say,
absolutely, but I would counteract that with the point that Shelvey's. I think Shelvey's the best ball player at Newcastle, and some of a lot of attacking transitions start with Shelvey. He's the quarterback, if you like, for Newcastle. But I would agree, having someone like Bruno in there, looking at all his stats, I've not seen him play yet, but this is a guy who can break up play, and he's an excellent ball player as well for a team like Lyon, who keep the ball better than this Newcastle team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, mate. I mean, we've seen the Bruno, where he's came on, just helped to control the game last 5. That's all we've seen so far, but we're yet to see that Bruno full game, knocking balls about. I mean, Adam, I'll come to you on this, because Chris Wood hasn't scored yet. He hit that one from a bit of a distance, so desperation. Probably should have played in Joe Willock, actually. Joe Willock was in a great position. But Chris Woods really quietly went about his business these last couple of games, and he's been vital, I think, up front. He's created space for Maxi and Fraser. Do you think that his confidence is growing, Chris Wood, in that front three? I don't necessarily think he needs to be the goal scorer in that front three.
Not at the minute, no. But again, he is the striker at the minute. I mean, Callum Wilson's still be out for at least another couple of months, so someone has to put the goals in at some point. I don't know, I'm a bit on and off with Chris Wood. I like his link-up play. I think he holds the ball up quite well, but he's not the same as Wilson. I think Wilson's clearly a better player, in my opinion. The way he gets him behind is just an absolute nuisance for centre-halves. I do like the way Chris Wood works, so I think once he scores one, I think he will start to score quite a few, but he just seems to be in a bit of a patchy period. I mean, he got double figures in the past 4 seasons in Premier League, so I don't know what's going on with him at the minute. I think he's just having sort of a bad spell. But he is a good football player. I just feel like he needs to get a goal at some point, because again, we know, like I said before, Wilson's going to be up quite a while, and someone's got to score in these big matches. And Sir Maxman, yes, he can do it. Jordan, I mean, he's only scored once this season, but he looks like to create chances, and it's a matter of time, really. I think now West Ham next week, I think it's a good time to actually play them, because they're not the best of form, at the same time, you don't expect us to get anything down at West Ham anyway, so I think it's a good chance of the players to kind of have a sort of a game where they don't have to take too much pressure on. I think it's a good opportunity for them to go down and just try and prove themselves.
Rob, I think we need to talk about the big guy a bit more, because what a debut. Geordie boy to come back and play like that in his debut, and I think he's one game he's cemented himself into the team for me. And I mean, for him to square up to someone like Tyrone Mings, who I said last week that I didn't really believe he was a great player, and he just outclassed him, didn't he? And took a bit of memorabilia.
Yeah, he did. Took off his shirt home, I think, didn't he? But no,
he gave it into the crowd.
Did he?
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, burn, baby, burn. He's quality, really good. Again, it's what Ethan was saying earlier. It's the squad where we're actually seeing some competition now, and I think I read that Lascelles was unwell or something. And to be honest, I think if he had been available, I don't think Dan Burn would have played. To be honest, he possibly might have seen him at left back instead of Manquillo. But again, it's what we want. We want the competition, because now, for me, that's now Dan Burn's position to lose. You know, I wouldn't bring Lascelles back just because he's fit again. I would leave. Basically, it's a winning side, and he's had a cracking performance. So as I say, it's his to lose now. Next time Shaw can't play or he can't play, then maybe we'll see Lascelles come back. Because as I say, Lascelles has played great in the last few games as well. I know he's obviously had stick this season, but generally, that's what we want. We want the competition. Everyone's riding high on the confidence, so everyone's having a good game. And that's exactly what we need. We want people to be challenging each other. Again, that will be why it would have potentially have been better to have brought in another striker in the window, because then that could have been the Wood in, someone else have a go now, because we're kind of he's kind of stuttering to start. But I'm hoping he can get a goal soon and maybe kick on from there. But yeah, Dan Burn. He's a massive bloke, isn't he? Like, he's on the pitch. I'm thinking, dear me, but he's good. He's good with the ball as well. He doesn't just head it out. He actually brings the ball out and creates play. And I spoke about it with Trippier earlier, as having that confidence with the ball at your feet. Like, that's another thing that Lascelles has had a bit of stick for, is being a bit rash and lumping it long, where he was a lot more composed, which is what we need. We're in a tough place. We're in the relegation fight, but just, again, deep breath, keep calm, keep doing what we're doing, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, I have to say, Dan Burn's composure definitely rubbed off on Shaw as well. Shaw was back to his composed self, and we all know Shaw can play like a holding midfielder at times. His ball distribution's great, and also was very Shearer versus Villa-esque with his headband on for his cut below his eye. It was housery from us just to waste some time. But again, Shaw, fantastic again. Ethan, before we move on to West Ham, we've now played both Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard, both coaches that were linked with the Newcastle job before we got Eddie Howe. Gerrard, the latter, was who some fans preferably wanted in. I know I was a big fan of the proposal of maybe bringing in Steven Gerrard. Eddie Howe's proved himself this week, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he definitely has. I mean, if you go back maybe 4 or 5 podcasts ago, you probably got me saying that I'm not convinced by Eddie Howe yet, and I think that's okay to say. But to be honest, he's been revolutionary. There's many times on the podcast as well, Andy, I've been calling for going to a back five, the anxiety of things changing, and I just wasn't seeing it fully working yet. But now, last 3 games, it's clicked, and he has proved himself. Yes, someone like Steven Gerrard would have been interesting. I know his links for bringing in players like Philip Coutinho or Luca Dino, whatever. I think that would have been because of the Gerrard factor. Maybe Eddie Howe doesn't have that in a sense, but I think Eddie Howe's a really good coach. And I think that because this team had absolutely no confidence for so many months now, and we've seen it grow and develop, but now it's just working. So yeah, he's absolutely proved himself, Andy. And I mean, if you asked me 4 or 5 weeks ago, would you have people like Gary Neville going, oh yeah, well, if they play like this all the time, or watching this Newcastle today, no chance of going down? I wouldn't have thought that, because we only had 1 win on the board. But yeah, it's so crazy how he's just made it so positive so quickly.
Yeah, Gary Neville was very complimentary of Newcastle yesterday. I think he said that it's not somewhere he's enjoyed coming the last 10 years of while working with Sky, but he's saying that's the Newcastle of old. I mean, it's great to see that. Like, everyone wants to see St James's how it is. It's again biased, but I think it's fact that St James's is the best ground in the Premier League for atmosphere and everything at the minute. It's unbeatable, and the fantastic work the War Flags are doing. I mean, the Leazes End looks unbelievable. The surfers they had going around the Gallagher yesterday, it's just fantastic now. And I mean, it's almost it's a shame we're playing away, because I just want to see what War Flags are doing next. Adam, West Ham next up. Bit sad that Callum Wilson is out, because West Ham's pretty much a happy hunting ground for Callum Wilson, but it is a ground that we've had a good record in recent years. And I mean, can we see if we can get an emergency loan maybe for Henri Saivet? He was our free kick specialist at the London Stadium. Adam, going into that game, early kickoff next Saturday, how are you feeling about it?
I'm confident, yes. I think everyone has to be confident going to that game, especially West Ham as well. Last few weeks I've dropped off quite a bit. They're still a great side, don't get me wrong. They probably will get a European spot this season, which, I mean, is going to be consistent for them now. So it's not going to be easy at all. But Newcastle have got a good record down there, and the way we play at the minute, the players will be very confident going into it. I know, obviously, Trippier and Mankiw missing is going to be a big knock for them. But the rest of the players in that team will still feel like they can do something. And like I said before, the fact now is we're 4 points away from the bottom three. Burnley, the winning games in hand, are still behind us, like, with 3 points or something. So they've got that breathing room now. We can actually drop points. And I feel like this West Ham game, I mean, if we're going to lose a game, we might as well be this one and go for the win against Brentford next week. So we'll see how things go. I'm confident we can go down there and give it a good go, but I don't think we're going to win, make it 4-0. I think that's 4-0. I mean, listen, I hope it does happen, but I think that's just a bit too much to ask for at the minute.
I mean, I don't think it's too much of a big show. It's not as big as a show if before we won these 3 games in a row. And to be honest, if Mankiw is injured and out, I still think a back four of maybe Kraft, Lascelles, Shaw and Byrne is still a very, very solid defence. And like I say, if Kidderminster can give them a game, then so can we. Rob, in that West Ham side, who's your biggest worry, would you say?
Ooh, well, I mean, the West Ham, I mean, I know we can be a little bit hit and miss at times. I know we're a hit right now. I'm hoping the hits continue and that we don't have a miss. But West Ham have been quite that way this season. I mean, they all having a good season, but they're not a team who are winning every game as well. Losing against Leeds a couple of weeks ago, and it was a 2-2 draw with Leicester, so they can't score goals. I think that's down to the players like Bowen. Obviously, Antonio, when he's got his shooting boots on, is unplayable. So there's definitely some worries for us in there. That there's some quick players running around, and again, I think that's why the ability to play, because again, Target, I'm assuming he's now eligible to play in this game, coming back from.
I totally forgot. Yeah.
Again, more of a pacey player. I think Dan Byrne, once he gets moving, he can be quite quick as well. So I'm hoping we've got the pace to match them coming in. But yeah, it'll be another tough one. I think on our day, if we play like we have the last few games, we can beat just probably about anyone. I think that's why the Premier League's so great. It's because everyone's beating everyone and no one knows what's going on. I mean, the relegation fight's interesting to watch, but that top 4 spot as well is crazy. There's like 5 or 6 teams that are all a point within each other, and it's because they're all winning and losing against each other. So I definitely back us with the chance. I think it'll be tough. But yeah, the confidence is there right now. I can potentially see 3 points coming our way.
I like it. I like the confidence that's growing in this podcast now.
Yes.
Ethan to get up to speed, maybe. But it's great. I mean, for you who's watching, do let us know in the comments how you think Newcastle's going to get on at the London Stadium. Ethan, my main concern probably would be Declan Rice. I mean, he's coming on leaps and bounds. I certainly think he's a future England captain. I love his mentality on and off the pitch. If you haven't watched the overlap he's done with Gary Neville, he's just a great character. Do you think Joelinton, Shelvey and Willock, do you think they can keep him quiet in the centre of the park?
It's hard. But yeah, they're playing well. When you want to come against some top midfielders, Andy, you want to do it when your midfielders are playing at the top of the game. But West Ham have so many good players. The problem with West Ham is that they just score every game, but they do like to concede. I mean, having players like Jared Bowen, Ben Rama, Lanzini, Fornals, Antonio, there's so much attacking talent there. I think in terms of like the maybe just outside the top 4 kind of teams, West Ham have the most in terms of variation and number of players in attack. So it's going to be hard to keep them quiet. But yeah, like I said, Andy, they concede goals. And that's every time we play West Ham, it always seems to be 3-2, I think. So if Newcastle can get a couple of goals in this game, I know we talked about Chris Wood before. not really performing. He really needs to try and get a few goals and get a few more opportunities. It's a big miss that Kieran Trippier's not there, because he's been a main source for the goals at the moment. So once that Newcastle front three, that front line, can start creating chances and get a few goals, and if they do that, they can definitely get something from this game against West Ham, because I think they will score, but they can also concede. That's their Achilles heel.
This is the bit where we always sway and you find out who's the confident ones and who's not. Score prediction, lads. Adam, I'll come to you first because you always give something mental usually, and I usually join you. What are you saying, mate, for West Ham?
Well, I'm going to put us on the win, yes. I was putting us on the win when we're losing 6 in a row, and I mind winning 4 now. I'm sorry. So, yes, I think I will put us on the win. I'm looking forward to that match. Obviously, I'm going down the Friday to stay off for the night, so the better perform on that Saturday morning because it's a very early kick-off. But I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle. I'm going to go for an actual realistic score. I think it'll be tight. I think both teams will go for, but I think in the end, Newcastle will score 2, hopefully in the first half, and we'll hold on for the 2-1.
Rob?
Well, the last 3 games I've gone 1-0, and I've not necessarily always been right, but we've always ended up winning. So I'm going to continue with that, and I'm going to go 1-0 Newcastle. Again, I said this in the Villa game. I really doubt we can keep a clean sheet, but we did it. So who knows? Maybe we can do it again. I think it'll be another close game. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think we could see a bit of a thriller. Hopefully, maybe 2-2 or something crazy. But no, I'll stick with 1-0. As long as we take home, well, I want 3 points. 1-0.
Mystic Rob has spoken. Ethan, are we positive?
We are positive. I'm not going to go down the winning route though, but I'm going to go down the route of that we're gonna take something home. I think it is a real problem that Trippier's not there, and I don't think we are scoring goals free flowingly. But I'm West Ham will score. That's the only trouble. I'm torn between a 2-2 result or a 1-1. But let's go. I said it's always 3-2. Let's go 2-2. Let's go 2-2. That's my
2-2.
Yeah. That's my pick.
I'll one up you and I'll go to 11 Reef. I'm going to say 3-2 again.
Okay. Yeah.
Henri Saivet off the bench free kick.
I'm going to be annoyed now if it's 3-2 because I've said it always is, and now you've took my answer and you'll get all the glory for it. So,
sorry, I've just ended up in the complete darkness there. All the spotlights have gone out in my room. 2 of the bulbs have went out, and
hopefully that's not a metaphor, Andy, for the game coming up. Dark things are going to come.
Sorry, I'm getting all Halloweeny there when actually it's Valentine's Day, or should I say Valentine Day? Sorry, I really tried hard not to cringe at myself there, but I have. So we're going to talk our perfect partnerships in Newcastle. So we're talking about centre back parents, we're talking midfield parents in the centre of the park, and we're talking forwards. Ethan, I'll come to you first. Who would be your dream centre-back parents from former players at Newcastle? Well, former and current Newcastle players.
I've got to admit, Andy, you did tell me to think about this before the podcast, but I've given it absolutely no thought.
I was prepared.
Yeah. Sorry, Andy. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to think of something really quickly. Well, the best centre half I've ever watched at Newcastle, Andy, is Colaccini. I think I've never seen someone read the game so well. And oh my goodness, who am I going to put alongside him? And they've never had to have played together before.
Yeah.
Is that
well,
the rule?
you can. Well, just your perfect centre back parent.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to say Andy. I like that Dan Burn fella. He looks really good. We'll put him on the left side and we'll put Colaccini on the right. Forgive me for the lack of preparation for that answer.
Adam, for you, mate, who's your dream centre-back parent?
Go Bruno. I think I'm going to go for those 2. That'll be a really interesting pairing.
What, centre-backs?
Centre-backs, I'll go Jonathan Woodgate and Dan Burn.
Ooh, Woodgate famously that stint at Real Madrid didn't go too well, didn't go to plan. Rob, for you, mate, who's yours?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think we've been overly blessed with centre backs, to be honest. I think there's probably a lot. I can probably think of a lot more duds than I can think of quality centre backs. I think for like without going back too far. I think Colaccini is probably the standout. So I'm actually going to take a mix of used two. And I was thinking about this already. I've not just nicked your answers. I was going to say Woodgate as well. Just again, I think Colaccini can be the hard man to no nonsense, and Woodgate can bring it out from the back. It was always a massive shame that he never got more game time and obviously had the injury issues. But c'est la vie.
I'm amazed, bamboozled, and baffled that no one has said Philippe Albert.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true. I did think of him, to be fair.
I did my homework. I went with Colaccini and Philippe Albert would be my two. Ethan, we'll move on.
Oh my goodness! Are you doing centre midfield parents now?
Yes.
Oh, go to me last then, so I can listen to everyone else's.
Adam or Rob, who's more prepared? Who can give us a centre mid?
I spotted mine before, didn't I? So I'm going to go with Gino and Budo.
He hasn't even played properly yet. That's how confident Adam is. In
10 minutes. He's played no more than 10 minutes.
Rob,
Fine, doesn't matter.
fine, doesn't matter. Forget it.
I have also not prepared anything. I'm trying to think of. I mean, again, there's a lot of names, and I won't say any because I don't want to spoil Ethan's. I think, again, from the football that I've watched, and not going back too far, I think you know what it is. I think they played together as well. I was going to say Cabaye and Tiote. Cabaye can play the passes. Tiote can crunch people in the middle.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was the first game of the season. We beat them. We played Tottenham at home, and I was sat in the middle of the Millburn, and Tiote came in and just absolutely crunches Gareth Bale, and the tackle just echoed around the stadium. It was great. Ethan, are you ready?
You see, Andy, I always feel like I am ready. I've got an answer, but like I always feel like if I was to say like big names like from Newcastle's past, I've got to be honest. I'm 22 and I never watched any of the glory days, but I think the first time I went to a Newcastle match would have been in 2010. So I'm going to go off the players I've watched and that I've loved. Cabaye is my favourite player that I've ever watched put a Newcastle shirt on. Just a genius in terms of his passing ability. And I love Kevin Nolan. Let's put him alongside him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to give an honourable mention to Kevin Nolan. I was going to say Cabaye and Gary Speed. I was at the PSV home game in the UEFA Cup, as it was. Shearer and Gary Speed both scored headers, I believe. And I also, a bit embarrassed to say this, but I think I'd have been 7 maybe at this game. It was one of my first games. I cried when the PSV player dived to win a penalty, which they scored from, which my dad quite remembers us of quite often. Right, forwards. Ethan, am I starting with you or am I coming to you?
Oh no, it's truly like, is it not Rob's turn to start? Is it not your turn to start? You just keep throwing it at everyone else. Yeah, you throw it at everyone else.
I think a forward partner of Shearer, obviously, because who else?
Yeah.
And Obafemi Martins would have worked well.
Right.
You've got Shearer, who's big, physical. Oba's dead quick. Again, Demba was class. Like 11-12 season, Demba Ba was quality. For all Patrice Cisse was in that half season, Demba was just magic. Adam, I'll come to you next, mate.
Well, I'm going to go for Demba's deadly duo. I'm going to go for Patrice Cisse, prime Patrice Cisse and Alan Shearer, I think. I think those two will just score some ridiculous goals, and I just feel like that would have been like heavens to me watching that.
Rob?
Well, again, I think you can't not say Shearer, so I'll go ahead and say him as well. And then trying to think of someone different now, because I think Demba Ba and Cisse were definitely up there. It's the same. It's all the same team, isn't it? The team that finished 5th with Tiote and Cabaye and those guys. Callum Wilson. Shearer and Callum Wilson.
It would work.
Yeah.
I'd be. It's one I would happily see. Before we wrap up, we'll have had a.
Hey,
what?
We haven't even asked for mine.
Don't bother with you anymore. Go on then. Shearer and who?
I feel it's really boring saying Shearer. What about prime Andy Carroll? Why can't I say that? Could I say that? because he was amazing for like.
Because he naffed off the Liverpool and then
months.
dived.
Yeah, he
When
did.
he came back.
I love Demba Ba, Andy, but yeah, I guess it's going to have to be Alan Shearer and someone. So I'll say Shearer and Ba, and you can move on to the next bit.
Again, probably this is our youth that's made us ignore this, but we've had a comment come in from Jamie. He said Shearer and Andy Cole. What a top two that would have been, especially in the prime. Jamie's also commented, just quickly before we round up, Shaw can do a job at right back, target left back, Burn and Lascelles in the middle. Kraft is a no from me. Yeah, seen quite a few people on Twitter yesterday went into meltdown when that Watkins ruled out goal went in because obviously Kraft was the man and mentioned that.
Oh, it was harsh that Andy.
It was.
I don't know why people were blaming him because the stop because he had to go to the ball to stop the cross.
Yeah.
And then it obviously went to the middle and was it like Buendia or someone touched it on? And like in that moment, Kraft had to come across to close the ball down and then it just paused it on the VAR screen. So it's like, why is Kraft that deep? But I just thought I thought it was ridiculously harsh that everyone was having a go at Kraft for that. And in the end, you know what? He played him offside. So I think people need to leave off him a bit.
Yeah, it was quite. The karma was like poetry, wasn't it? I mean, Villa have a side that have been served up quite a few dishes of karma at St James's over the years. Last time in the Championship when they decided to sign everyone's favourite midfielder, Henri Lansbury. After his antics, playing at Forest, comes and scores that own goal on the front post, and I just remember our Twitter admin absolutely rinsed him. It was great. Just zooming in on Henri Lansbury on that front post, on the front post, fantastic stuff. Adam Shaw at right back. Do you think he could do a job there? Would you be happy to see him play there? For one, I would probably prefer Kraft, to be honest, because it's his natural position.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I've never seen Shaw play right back before, so I don't know how you would be. I know he's obviously plays well in the free back, but God knows what he'd be like on the side. To be fair, Kraft when he came on, I didn't think he was amazing, but again, he was like kind of just dumped in the deep end. To be fair, and he tried his best. I think the Villa goal was harsh. I don't think it was clear and obvious, to be honest. But at the same time, when we're going down to Villa Park at the start of the season, where you were stitched up by VAR all match long, so like you said, I think it is karma. And it's just how the cookie crumbles. I think Kraft against West Ham will make a break. I think he has been better this season, but I still don't think he's good enough, really. I mean, Kieran Trippier is just 10 times the player Kraft is his best way of putting it. There's no one at the club that can really replace him, so I think whoever goes there is going to be screwed, to be honest.
I'll be hoping that Mankiw is fit because I think I'm not saying he can match Trippier, but he's certainly the better stand-in, and he's great cover, to be honest. Especially he's great with them one-touch crosses. But we'll leave it there for this week. We're ending in smiling faces again. Hopefully we'll be back next week smiling. So yeah, we'll be putting out when we're live. We'll love people commenting, getting involved with the pod, and we'll see you again next week, lads. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and we'll see you later. Bye.